On June 30th, China passed a national security law for Hong Kong that has profound implications for digital freedom and free speech in the territory. The tech implications for Hong Kong are significant. Uh, the law criminalizes a range of behavior, both in terms of free speech and also in terms of other actions. It also authorizes extensive surveillance and censorship protocols uh, against those suspected of breaking the law. One of the big issues that has occurred is to what extent are tech companies responsible for and willing to hand over user data upon request to Chinese authorities. So far, companies like Facebook, Google, Zoom, Telegram, and many others have suspended cooperation with the government while they review the tenets of the law. Uh, there are large questions in terms of whether these companies will hand over data if Chinese authorities decide to arrest company employees, accrue financial penalties against these firms, and put other pressure. So this really has broader implications in terms of to what extent will social media platforms eventually fold to this type of pressure. Already, there has been a significant chilling effect in Hong Kong when it comes to free speech as a result of the national security law, with individuals associated with the protests deleting or deactivating social media accounts, unliking posts for groups that are friendly to the protesters, apps associated with the protests, suspending service, and so forth. So we are already seeing, even without a significant heightening of arrests, a pretty large chilling effect in terms of the law's effect in Hong Kong. Globally, there are really four implications that are worth going over in terms of what this national security law might mean in a broader sense. First, to what extent will tech companies hold the line against these requests for user data? If China is able to successfully get this data, to what extent will other autocratic companies then be able to get personal user data from dissidents, activists, and journalists as well from social media platforms? This potentially could lead to a pretty damaging precedent when it comes to free speech. A second issue then is what extent will China put a significant amount of pressure on companies? Will it use its financial leverage to really push companies to give handover data? Will it resort to criminal prosecutions and so forth? That remains to be seen, but obviously, the more it pushes this line, the more it risks heightening geopolitical tensions with the United States and other liberal democracies. Third, to what extent will U.S. and liberal democracies stand firm behind tech companies and push back against Chinese actions under the national security law? That is also a big question in terms of how firm companies may want to be on this issue. And then finally, what precedent does the national security law set for other autocracies that are looking to China's model and say, well, if China can do it, so can we? So the national security law in Hong Kong really represents an important inflection point when it comes to digital rights. And if China succeeds, I think the precedent this sets globally uh, is troubling.